If you want to scale an e-commerce or dropshipping brand in 2022 and get those juicy 5% conversion rates and amazing $100 AOVs, then you need to be a master of the custom page builder or have an amazing theme where you can stand out among the rest of your competition. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to treat Gempages the right way so that you can get some insane conversion rates, because when you master a custom page builder like Gempages, Pagefly, whatever it is, you can build insane product pages for whatever product you test and have a much higher chance of seeing success. And by the end of this video, you're going to have the essentials for building an amazing product page in Gempages every single time, and you will have an official certificate from the Ethan Dobbins School of E-commerce. Very prestigious, I think even more than Harvard. Now, for this video, I'm going to be trying to build a product page for this product right here, which is an eyeshadow palette. Now, when you're selling any product at all, you need to have a great branded product name to start. Now, if I'm selling this product, what should I do? Now, personally, I look at similar products out there, so I will go on to Google Shopping. I will look up the main keywords. So for this product, it's butterfly, it's eyeshadow. So I would have eyeshadow, I would have beauty, makeup, stuff like that. So I can try to come up with something that seems branded. So the Moon Eye eyeshadow palette or the butterfly eyeshadow palette. I mean, that's a little bit too generic for me. So I would definitely go down this list, and you see something like Divine Beauty eyeshadow palette. That could be a good line right here. You can just keep on going down until you find something that you like. Or Enchanting eyeshadow palette. Oof, that could be pretty decent. Now, when we go down here, I want to get a general vibe as to how other brands are naming specific products like this. So I know with makeup, a lot of the times they'll have actual female names instead of a real product title. So they might do the Grace palette, and then it's dash eyeshadow palette. And again, you definitely want to see what other brands are doing to get some inspiration. You might want to go into business name generator as well. I personally like to lean towards business name generator for getting my product titles though. I think for this product, I'm going to go with the name Divine Eyes or Lavish Eyes, something along those lines. But let's add this without Oberlo, because RIP Oberlo. And we're going to import this product using Dsers. Now, if you don't know how to use Dsers, it's pretty simple. I'll show you right now. So we're going to grab that AliExpress link and go to import list just like this right here. So we got the product. So let's get into some editing. Now, I believe the name I'm liking a little bit more. I think Lavish Eyes is sticking with me. So I'm going to go Lavish Eyes, one word, and then I would do butterfly eyeshadow palette. Now, when it comes to the different variants, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4. We got a pink, a beige, a white. I think the only one I would get rid of is actually number 1. It kind of is a little bit boring to me. So I'm just going to do the pink, white, and the sort of beige color. Now, when it comes to cost, this is where the fun can really kick in, because your offer is so important whenever you're doing dropshipping or e-commerce. And especially if you're doing an item that is more low ticket, where it might only cost you $1 or $2 or $3, I would highly recommend doing a starting offer of a BOGO offer or buy one, get 2 free. And you might have to just raise the price to get 1 when you do that. So if you were to sell one product of this, you might be selling it for $19.99. But if you're doing the buy 1, get 2 free offer and trying to make it more enticing, you might do $29.99, and you actually get to charge $10 more. The cost is only $6 for you. So you actually make more money, and it's a more enticing offer because you're getting 3 for $30. So that's $10 per case for the customer. So it's a good deal for them value wise. And for you, you make more money compared to them just buying 1 for $20. So for me, I would actually like to do that as the offer. So $29.99, and I think compare at, I usually do $49.99, somewhere around there. So you would have to do that on every single one of these. So let's just copy that down, super duper easy. Now, when it comes to images, I usually will source images from a variety of different suppliers, not just the supplier I imported from. That's a common rookie mistake, because you can always find great images from everywhere. So if we scroll down in here, I would say I want to avoid all of them that have the Chinese writing, or at least have enough of the image so I can crop it down. So for this one, I know I can crop it down a bit. Okay, we got a before and after, it looks like. So we'll definitely do that here, right here as well. Okay, pretty decent. Now, final section, if we go back up, shipping info, not really too worried about. So we go back here to the variants, and I would just click save. And once you're done, we can just import this bad boy, push it to Shopify, just like this by selecting, push to Shopify, we're good to go. So let me copy over that compare at price, and we're just going to save right quick. Now, I'm going to go back into here. There was some problems with the variants and the way that they were named. So color, yeah, it's not going to be 2, 3, 4. We're going to do definitely pink for the pink version. This one was more of a brownish sort of beige. I'm going to go with beige there. and then we're going to do white. So that makes it super easy. Now, I would always recommend the first option available, so you can just go right here and play around with it, is the one that you feel like has the most content, because typically the ones that have the most content are the ones that are most popular. Suppliers will give you more content for the ones that are really doing well. Now, when we go into saving real quick, let's just try to crop out the images or get rid of the images that have the text that is, Chinese right in the middle. Yeah, that's not going to work for me, so I'm just going to delete those. And then for images like this one right here, we can click the crop button. We can go to square and just drag that on down and make that pretty solid. So let's see how that looks. Done. I would say actually we can definitely crop out that other side, because it's not looking super duper professional unless we do something like this. Let's see how that looks. I would say it looks a little bit better. Again, it might be a little too cropped, but for me, I just want to get rid of the extra text and the extra color. Now, I would definitely say though, for this specific product, we can find more images. So let's do that right now. Now, when you're dropshipping any product, the images that you use are incredibly vital. So if you have the ability to source images from a variety of different suppliers, that puts you miles ahead of other dropshippers that are just using images from the default supplier. So for me, when I was selling this product, as you can see right here, the images, there's a few out there, but it's not the best selection. So personally, what I would recommend doing is go into Alibaba, go into AliExpress, and look up the keywords inside of your product. So for me, it's butterfly eyeshadow, and you can see all of these different suppliers right here that I was able to find very easily, and we can see all the different images that they have. Now, for some of them, they're going to have the same types of images, but this one, okay, this one's a little bit different. This one's kind of the same. Now, if we go here, okay, we got this cool little collage. Now, again, you're going to have to do a bit of work here, because for most products you're going to sell, you want to make sure there is a decent amount of content already out there. So if you're not noticing a lot of images or videos, it's probably a bad sign, and you probably should be avoiding that product and moving on to something that does have a little bit more content out there that you can use. But as you can see right here, I mean, this is a really solid image. Now, if you're wondering how to download images from AliExpress, it can be a little bit tricky. There's different Chrome extensions like Ali Save that's out there, because when you just typically save image like this, it turns into a WebP file, and sometimes that WebP file can be very small. Now, if you don't want to use a Chrome extension tool, you can go to EasyGIF. We can go to WebP to JPG just like this, find our WebP file, upload it like that, and bada bing, bada boom, convert to JPG, and we can save that image. So it's looking nice. And then we go back to our product page, add that image, super simple, and we're good to go. And this is a process that does take a bit of time, but the extra effort will be reflected in your conversion rate. Now, when you are doing a BOGO offer or buy one, get two free on your website, how do you actually implement that inside of Shopify? Now, for me, what I personally like to do is go to the discount section, create a discount code, go to buy X, get Y, and you're gonna just choose automatic discount first. For title, really doesn't matter. I mean, you can just do a bunch of letters. No one else is gonna see this. Now, for minimum quantity, you'll do one quantity like this, go to the product that you're selling, click add. Then it depends on what offer you're doing. If you're doing BOGO, you just have to do one quantity. For me, I'm going to do buy one, get two free. So I'm going to do two like this. And then you'll just look up the same product that you already have. And that means when someone adds one of these to cart, or if they add three actually to the cart, two of them will automatically be free. I did forget real quick to click the free button, but now that I did, we click on save and we are good to go. So I'm really a big fan of that offer. And hey, maybe it doesn't work out initially and then I'll try buy one, get one free. But I'm a really big fan of doing the buy one, get two free. We'll see how that performs. And maybe it doesn't perform very well and we have to switch the offer to buy one, get three free, or buy one, get one free. And it depends, because every product is different. With eyeshadow palettes, beauty products, sometimes people like to buy more than one, but with other products, they might just only want to have one of those instead of buying like three. So you have to definitely think, does it make sense to do a BOGO offer, or does it make sense to focus on just the buy one offer? Now, before you build your own Shopify website, I would definitely recommend, if you have the budget, let's say $200, $300, $400, to create your own Shopify theme that models a website that you personally really like. Now, let's say, for instance, you love Blender's eyewear's website. You think it looks really nice, it's super professional, and you want to have a website template that is exactly the same. Well, it's actually not that hard to do. You can go into places like Upwork. You can have a job post like this where I'm looking for a website designer that can duplicate the homepage, the product pages of a specific website. And you'd be really surprised, for about $200, they can make the exact same custom coded theme where you can just then import your product, import your data, your description, all that stuff into one theme. And it makes it super easy compared to having to try to recreate it on your own and probably not having the same effect. And now it's time for the main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Inside, we are now in Gempages. So let's get into it right now. So you want to go to the product pages section, create new template to figure out what is going to be your foundation to your home, your baby girl that you are going to care for and love and make sure it is absolutely perfect. Now for me, I really don't care too much about what the template is because you can do so many customizations. I think for now, we'll actually use this VR layout, and you can preview every one of these and see, hey, which one makes sense for mobile, because you got to keep in mind, 95% of your traffic is most likely coming from mobile. And I would say this layout really isn't that shabby. I mean, we got some good images right here, and then the product title, price, reviews, and then you can click on these reviews to go straight to the review section. I would say the add to cart button is a little bit lower than I would ideally like, but compared to other themes out there, I would say it's pretty solid. So yeah, let's just stick with this one. Now, I would say once you start editing a theme that you like, you should still be going into the product page templates and seeing what you would like to grab. Because for me personally, I will preview these other ones and I'll be like, oh, wow, this section right here, this is really, really interesting. So what I'll do is I'll start editing and I'll go into it and start copying the section. So you can actually go down right here, and let's go right here to this section. So we just click on it. My mistake, it's actually called a row, and you can just easily click save row and save that block right into the library on Gempages. So that way you can go into all of these different product pages, which we'll actually do right now, and we'll see which bits and pieces that we want to take to make a giant Frankenstein that is the perfect product page for us. So you might go down here and we go into this clothing one. Is there anything that we particularly like? I actually really like this review section. I love having reviews above the fold, having something there. So I would definitely click start editing, go inside of here, and we are 100% going to go to that row and just click save. Super duper easy. And you usually want to have a library of about 20 to 30 different elements and sections that you like. So maybe that's not even the only thing you like. You go down here. Oh, these trust badges. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of them, but if you do like them, everyone has different tastes. You can definitely save them and make them into your product page, and you have them all accessible. So let's say you actually want to drop a block into your product page. So you just click on that, boom, it's inserted, super duper easy, and you can drag it up a row if you'd like to definitely play around with the placement.
A few hours later.
So now that I've had a little bit of time off camera to, I don't know, get a few elements here and there, maybe one or two, or about a million in the whole entire army, because you can never have enough elements to play around with, we have our template. Now, I'm going to make sure that we have the right product inside of here. So what we're actually going to do, go to product, and then we are going to switch this, pick a product to the lavish eyes. Alrighty. So that will populate all the images, everything right here. Now, I would say we're just going to optimize this mainly for mobile. That's where it really counts. So first off, got some padding I want to get rid of. I do not like any white space whatsoever because we're trying to optimize for above the fold, because you want to have as much information as possible above the fold. That's where 100% of people will be once they click your link. And even when you go down to scroll to the first headline of your description, typically only 80% of people make it that far. So you really want to optimize by having the product title, the images, the carousel, and Blender does a great job, and they keep all their photos horizontal so that they can optimize for that. But for me specifically, and for your brand, you might have square images, so you might want to consider just making them a bit smaller. So for this instance, let's see what we can actually do. So 400 does seem to be the way to go after playing around with it a bit. Now we can go to the image list right here. We got slider, we got default. I'm definitely going to go with slider. We can definitely play around with the columns. I would say we want to space it out more. So probably having 5 columns is the way to go. Now we can see that this image right here is causing a bit of issues. So I would consider getting rid of it. In fact, let's actually go back here. Yeah, so this one, it's just going to cause some issues. So we're going to get rid of anything that's not super square, because everybody knows the rules. It's hip to be square. Now, let's get into this. So, we got some padding. Let's move this up. I want all the information, trying to make that as high as possible so people have it all in one place. Now, obviously, we're going to have to do some deleting. Now, this icon list, it actually isn't natural. You typically want to have an app that will populate under the product title. I do like to have a review star link where if they press on the reviews, it just sends them all the way down to the review section, and they can scroll back the way up. So for me, I use an app called LAI Reviews. Personally, you can use it if you want. I really do enjoy it. So I can actually scroll, place this right here, And if I go into the Express, I can do star ratings, the review widget. So for me, I would do star ratings. And if you're wondering how to add an app, your review app, into Gempages and have it integrate, you just click on add elements, you search up your app. So I did LAI like this, click it, and then install. Now with blenders, you can see they have the product title, they have the price, then reviews. I mean, if you can fit that all in one line, definitely hats off to you. But for me, I think we're gonna separate it a little bit. Now this custom discount, I think we can get rid of. The whole description, yeah, there's no way we're gonna put that there. Specs, again, another thing, you're just gonna have to definitely play around with what you wanna keep, what you wanna get rid of. Usually you're gonna be doing a lot of getting rid of things. Now color, definitely gonna keep that. I wonder if we can change this to images because I'm not a huge fan of just having text. So right here, we can just turn off swatch text and let's go to open manager. Let's go to colors, background, just like that, auto image source. And as we can see right here, we got our images for the different variants. Now, what I'm going to actually recommend doing is definitely try to make them a little bit bigger. So let's go to swatch height, just like that. Probably doing a 150. Okay, that's a little bit too big for me. So we just do 120. Still a little too big. So about 100. We definitely have to space these out a little bit. So let's do distance, probably something along those lines. Now, obviously, it's not perfect. I understand that. So let's see for width. So that's a little too much. 120. Okay, so that's spaced out pretty well. I would say we can definitely increase height a little bit later on. I don't want to focus too much attention to those little details. Now, going to price. Typically what most big brands do when they are designing their product page is they like to do the compare at price first because people naturally read left to right. So let's go right in here. We'll do compare first like that. I do like it to be grayed out. I don't want it to be the main center of attention. And sometimes I will change my price from black to whatever the brand color is. So for this website, it's pink. So I would actually consider making this a pink color. So we can go into here, go to colors, and obviously you have to play around. You might split test having it as black versus pink. You never know. And we have a whole video dedicated to split test that you can check out. So let's just make it a nice little pink here. I would say it actually really doesn't look that bad. And then when we go to the save, I do like to have a save widget in there. So we're going to click on price, go to the save right here. And personally, I like to do a bit of rounding. I like to make it more sort of pill shaped. So for background color, let's do a green. I really want it to stand out. And then for border color, I'm not too worried about having actual border. I think we'll be fine there. Now, padding, gaps, all these different things. I actually usually like to do U, save, and then the %. Now, for padding, I'd say that's a pretty good amount. Gaps, not too worried about that. Solid. As of right now, I'm not seeing a way to round it, so we'll just keep it the way it is. I actually don't think it's that bad looking. Again, definitely play around with design a little bit later. I'm just trying to get the layout. Now, am I going to have trust badges or main benefits here? We definitely could play around with it a little bit. Now, for quantity, I would say this is going to be incredibly important because we are doing that buy one, get two free offer. Now, add to cart, again, I would definitely want to make this the pink that we already have. So if we go to settings, background color, I want to get the color code for the pink that I've been using the entire time. So if we go up to this red, let's say for pink, we'll go with this. So we're just going to copy this color code and we'll make everything else the same. Now, when it comes to customizing your add to cart buttons, I really do put a lot of emphasis on making my add to cart buttons stand out when I am customizing on Shopify or Gempages. So the way you can do that with Gempages is you go into the border, you would make the border radius very, very large like this right here to make it pill shaped. And personally, I like to do a bit of a shadow effect to try to make it 3D. So we would do shadow blur like this right here, and man, does that make it stand out. I really like the way it looks. Personally like to do it as a down angle, and then add to cart. I mean, you can change that language from add to cart to buy it now, but personally, because this button does just add it to cart, we would keep that as the text. Now, when it comes to the hover, I usually want to make that a slightly lighter version of the color I already have. So let's just do that right now. We'll just drag it on down, and there we go. Now for buy it now, I don't customize this because it usually is just going to change to Apple Pay, Google Pay for the dynamic checkout button, which is really, really cool at Gempages. Pagefly doesn't have that, and there's a big reason why we actually switched to Gempages. Along with that, it's incredibly fast. Now, for most products I sell, because I usually have a pretty large description like this one right here, I do like to space out the different sections in my description using 3 different key sections. So one, I usually will have a headline, then an image right under it, then having some text with the body paragraph. Now, because you don't want to have too much text all at once, usually you want to separate your body paragraphs with an image. So let's say, for instance, this is your body paragraph right here. Then you'll have an image, your second headline, body paragraph, image, headline, body paragraph, and then you're good to go. Then you might have a little call to action at the end, like for limited time only, save 40% off when you buy now. Then you can get straight into the review section. So this actually has a review section, which is really, really cool. Then you can have your typical LAI reviews, Luke's reviews, just all your reviews in one place under. And then usually I like to follow that up with a frequently asked questions, and I'm good to go. So if I was to implement that, let's actually get into what we would do right here. So personally, I would get rid of these tabs because I wouldn't be really using them at all. So we get rid of those and then drag all of this up. Too much empty space. Get right here. Now for this, a closer look, I don't really need it. I'm just gonna go straight to headline, then have an image. So for image, I'll probably drag something in just like this as a nice little placeholder. And then for image, we would replace that with one of the images we already have, the eyeshadow palette. So we can actually upload something just like this, super duper easy. And boom, we got that. And then we'd have the body paragraph right under here. So we'd actually get rid of this. Then we would go into our text block, drop it right on down, have a bit of spacing. So let's just say we're going to copy this in just like this. Now, personally, because this is such a simple product, I would not have this much text, especially with TikTok. And there's a big debate about how with TikTok, you should have less text because people have less of an attention span. I have been doing some split tests. I don't 100% have a conclusion, but for you, you may have split tested it a bunch of times with a lot of products and you notice that shorter descriptions work better for you depending on the advertising platform that you test products on. So for me, I'm just gonna keep it like this. Now, when it comes to the actual text color, I'm gonna make it all black, just like this. Now, I would say for the spacing, I'm not a big fan of how it's spaced right now, so I'm gonna add a bit of padding. So we'll do, let's say 15, just like this. Not too shabby. Got a bit of space at the bottom also. So we would want to get rid of all of this because again, it's just wasted real estate. So I'm going to drag that on up. And then again, we have a little bit of padding, I would say right here. So let's actually go to the design spacing. Yeah, that's got a ton of padding. So we'll just make that a 10. Looks pretty good to me. Then we got our second headline right here. So we just import that. So let's say, yeah, make gorgeous eyeshadow looks. So we'll go right here and then just click paste. Now, I typically with my headlines like to make it about 2 lines. If it's 3 lines, I'm not the biggest fan of the world of that. So when it comes to the padding right here, let's see what we got. So go to spacing. Yeah, that's way too much padding for me. Usually between 15 to 20 is what I like. So we got our main headline here, an image, body paragraph, and I would say right here is where we would start doing some cuts. Wouldn't need any of this. And then I would have like a for limited time only call to action at the bottom. Usually have a button that when they click on it would add them to cart. And the really cool thing is I know if you typically add an add to cart button, usually the normal way Gempages. So if you go right here, let's try to grab an add to cart button. I don't know if I can find it. Gah. Okay, so right here, it'll say, oh, it's not the product module. Yes, that is true. But what you can do is go to library like this, and you can find one of the buy now buttons that you saw earlier on a different page. You can insert it. And just like that, we have a buy now button that we can play around with the placing. So you can move up this row. Now, again, if you copy just this buy now button, typically you should be able to just drag that up if you'd like. So let's actually see if we can do that right now. So we just added that block. See if we can get that buy now button by itself. There it is. I know it's a bit of a mess, but typically you can play around a bit with that. Now, with this theme, we already got the frequently asked questions at the bottom. That looks great. So we're actually going to just play around a bit. I want to get the exact format. Now, I'm actually going to think for this makeup product, we're probably going to use Accordion because there's not a lot of details that really need to be explained. I would say you would have the specifications, you would have the different colors that are inside the palette, then a very basic description. Like all of this that I have right here, yeah, it's nice. I think we can definitely shorten it down though. Now, if you do want your product pages to stand out, typically having a GIF inside of the description or in the product images section is a good way to demonstrate your product because images sometimes don't tell the whole story. So you can go into a website like Giphy, click on create, find a video for your product, and then you just choose the file like this. And you can choose 2, 3, 4, 8 seconds, honestly, for a GIF that you can upload into your product page. And it's good practice to definitely split test without having a GIF versus having one to see what your conversion rate performs at. Because with a GIF, it will slow down your website because it is quite a big file. So we want to be very, very smart with this. And let's say, for instance, we'll start right here. We'll make this end right around here. Yeah, it's a good little demonstration showing off the different colors that we have for the product. So we're going to continue to upload just like this. Upload to Giphy, and then once you're done, you usually can just right click, save image. And if it is under 3 megabytes, I believe, then you can easily add it to Shopify. And if it's not under 3 megabytes, you can go to an image compressor tool, easily get it down to under 3. And there we go. Look at that. Now, I will admit it is absolutely enormous. So we might want to make this, let's say 600. Yeah, it's still a little bit too big for me. So if we can go to 500, yeah, it's still pretty good. Maybe 400. Yep. Honestly, I think that still works anyways. So we got the GIF showing off the product in action. Then we'll have some images in here. Now, scrolling down here, having a video, yes, you can split test it. Personally, I don't think it's really necessary unless it's a video testimonial of your product. So maybe you can split test that. Now, going over here, we have a second sort of offer going on. I don't think that's going to really be necessary. Now, scrolling down here, another sort of second offer. Yeah, I'm not going to have that. Frequently asked questions. Now, above frequently asked questions, I will always have my reviews. So let's go to LAI Express. We're going to paste this right above. Now, for this, we're not going to do star ratings. We are going to do the review widget. Now, above this, I typically like to have a headline, which is customer reviews, or you can just do reviews like this. At the bottom, we have a can't find an answer. Yeah, I don't personally like to use that. And then we can go get rid of this section, get rid of this one right here as well. So now looks like we're getting very close. Oh my gosh, that is terrifying. It just looks like a robot orgy here. Jeez Louise. So let's just get rid of that and just put it to the barn and shoot it in the back of the head. Now over here, we'll get rid of that. This element, I don't think we can actually get rid of right now, which is a little bit annoying. Sometimes Gempages does glitch. But scrolling back up, we're looking pretty good here. We got the product title. We got the review widget that's going to be there. Price is standing out. Now for price, I typically, and there's different schools of thoughts here. Some people like to make it small. And by small, I would say smaller than the actual compare ad price, because it makes it seem like the price itself isn't a lot. So sometimes for smaller ticket products, people will do that. And I know there's a lot of psychology that goes into this. But for me personally, I like to make it big. I like it to stand out so people don't miss it whatsoever. So for this product, it's $30. People are gonna be like, okay, that's pretty expensive. But obviously, as discussed earlier, we're actually doing a buy one, get two free offer. So we would want to split test where we would put that text. So we could do it right around here, buy one, get two free. It makes it super easy. We could put this under the add to cart as well. I know a lot of people like to put it right around here, buy one, get two free. You would have the dynamic checkout. Now, because I am using dynamic checkout, probably makes sense to slide it on right under here, make it super easy, and then have exact instructions. And you can go to this website right here. This leggings website makes it super duper simple. I usually just copy and paste from here. Then we'll just add another little heading like this. Now, if I wanted to model exactly what they're doing here with the having an arrow and then text, so what we could actually do to do that is we would have to add a row right under this heading, and we would have to do a little bit of a split like this. And let's go to the mobile version. So what we would do is actually, I guess we'd have to do it on desktop first, is we would put a icon to the left, and then we would have text to the right. So it makes it super duper simple to do that. Now I'm actually curious how this looks on mobile. Yeah, it's pretty simple. So I would say we could do that. So we would do a little, let's do an arrow, just like that. Going to the right, we'd make sure that's the same pink that we have everything else. Now for now, let's just do a guesstimate. And then over here, we would have a heading. So we just move that right here, paste that, and we would have to just get rid of this section, make this a normal size. So let's do something like around there. Now, I would say for alignment, we can make it left aligned. And there's a bit of spacing that's kind of weird, I will admit. And let's definitely customize the color that we have right here. So we'd obviously want to make this the same sort of pink. So buy one, get two free, add 3+ TikTok leggings. I know right now it looks a little messy, blah, 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 whatever. Be a critic. Everyone's a critic. Now we can definitely play around with this. So let's say we move this left aligned. Now there's still going to be a bit of spacing here, so we're going to have to try to get rid of that. I'm actually just going to make a quick copy of this right here because I actually think it has it pretty much down how I would like it. So we'll just copy this. We'll just have the icon removed and replaced with the right arrow. So if we just move this icon, I wonder right here, then that actually makes it a little bit easier for us. So we can just get rid of that. And then we can add our 3+ TikTok leggings into cart just like this. Okay, cool. So it makes it a little easier. Now there is a bit of spacing that's a little off here. So let's see if we can add a bit of margin. And yes, now it's a lot more aligned. Now we want to make the text much bigger. So probably do something like this. Probably lower that padding a little bit more. Get that pink color going on as well. Now, I would say we're looking a lot better. So we can definitely make those changes, add all this stuff, so it makes it super duper easy. Now, I notice there's a lot of things going on. It's a little bit crazy right now, but we are going to get this looking nice. Alrighty, so let's click on save right there. We're looking nice and neat. And I would say for this top row, we would have, I would say, some icons as well. So because these are images, we're going to get rid of those and we're going to drag in an icon. I personally like to do 3 check marks. So we do a check mark like this. Super duper simple. Make sure it's the same color, pink all around, just to make sure the color scheme's looking nice. Actually, sorry about that. Looks like we got the right thing right around here. Now, for this, I already written out some benefits that I really like. So we are going to add this one right here. Let's just see how this is going to look. I'm very curious, actually. So we'll get rid of this subtitle. Go edit this text block. Place as plain, and then we're going to probably make the size. I make all font size usually around 18. So we'll do 18 like that. I would say for spacing, centering looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to click on save and we'll just add all these benefits. Okay, so let's get rid of this headline right here. We got our 3 benefits looking really nice. Gonna probably space that out a bit now with colors, all that stuff. Again, probably gonna make the height a little bit bigger on these. I'm not a huge fan of where they're at. So let's just increase height, see how those look. I would say, where do they sort of peak? I would say right around there. Now going down here to buy one, get 2 free, we definitely need to add a bit of padding. So let's go to design, then background. I mean, we are just like a modern day Picasso out here. It is beautiful. Adding that margin, I would say that looks a little bit better. Buy one, get 2 free, looking nice. Now right under here, we'll have that subtitle headline. Get rid of some of this spacing as well. I don't think we need all this padding. I mean, come on, guys. We are all buddies here. Peace and love. So everything's looking very cozy. I mean, geez Louise, your boy, a CEO. I mean, man, going down in the trenches, building his own websites. I might be one of the most humble YouTubers still out here because everyone's got teams nowadays. And again, when you are scaling and testing a bunch of products, you should have a team doing this because there's so much that goes into it, a lot of effort. But when you make a theme one time, then you have that forever, which is so powerful to get this down. And I had to learn this the hard way when I was starting out. Now with this use save, yeah, I'm not feeling the green as much. I think we can make it a black and it will just blend in a lot better. So let's make it a black right here. Use save. I don't know how I feel about the use save. It's a tricky one. It really is. Maybe more of a grayish. Oh, we'll stick with black. Now, going down here, we do want to have the accordion, the tabs, and all that stuff. I do think it just makes more sense for this product. So we want to go down here to tabs. And actually, after doing a bit of playing around, I think accordion makes a little bit more sense because, yeah, you can have all these different titles. So your specification, you can have your actual description in there. I think it makes it a lot better. So for us, what we're going to do is we are going to drag first off. And now you can look at your competition to see how they format it. If we go into our blenders, which again, all non-problem solving products pretty much have the same framework. So for them, they do details, description, fit guide, shipping, and returns. So for us, I think we can do 3 of those: details, description, shipping, and returns. So let's go back here. So we'll just name this details, and that'll be all the different colors we have. So we probably have a text block. Drag it in right there, put in the colors. Now, next one, description. That's where we'll paste our description. Probably want to keep that to a paragraph, maybe 2 paragraphs at max. And then final thing right here, shipping and returns. So I would say we can definitely make the font stand out a bit more. It's kind of looking a bit dead. I mean, if we're comparing this, yeah, theirs isn't super crazy. I think it's just a little too gray for me. So if we just copy that, let's say if we try to darken it down a little bit more. Yeah, that looks pretty schmexy if I say so myself. Now you can customize the icon. So we have this little arrow to the side. So personally, if you're not feeling the arrow too much, I believe we can customize that pretty simply. So if we go over here to the icon type, we can do the plus, and that's exactly what Blenders does as well. Their plus is a little bit smaller. I'm not sure if we can play around with that. Doesn't really look like it, but we can do left, right. I'm preferably going to do right, I would say. Now, again, we would have the colors here. We would have a description, shipping and returns. For this section right here, probably I would consider doing a headline, then an image, maybe having just one body paragraph here. Then I would have social proof going down. So if we are going to implement that right now, let's actually go into stand out with picture perfect professional eyeshadow. So we'll just do that right now. Let's just copy this in, and we want to make this about 2 lines. So I know right now it's a bit of a mess. So we're going to do font size. There she is. Okay, so we'll do 24. Again, color is not super standing out, so we'll just do that right here. Probably we'll do an exclamation. And we definitely want a bit of padding at the bottom there. Alrighty, that's looking pretty good. Now let's get rid of that padding right there. So nice. Now, I would say we can have this first paragraph. It's not that bad. Now, I would want to have social proof pretty much immediately afterwards for this. And again, it's different per product. Every product's going to be different. So customer reviews, yeah, I would say that makes a lot of sense. Let's go into Blenders. So they have all of their collections, which we're not going to have. Check the look. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to aim for, having some image reviews that pop up in that section right there. And I know there was a specific element where I saw that. I want to see if I can pull that up right now. There was also this element with payment badges that I really do like. So I'm just going to drag this right under there. I do like to have it. Again, it's something you can split test. If you don't like the way it looks, it doesn't have to be something you do. But we're going to just make that a little bit smaller, probably have a bit of spacing, just like this. And I would say the margin, yeah, top margin will add a bit more here. Now, other elements that I really liked before we get into that whole other section we talked about, let's go to this block. There was one thing I really do like, and it is a trust badge section. So you have, I would say, your refund guarantees, stuff like that. So yeah, this right here, but I think we can get a more professional version. Sort of never mind. Honestly, we'll just stick with this, probably change around the icons a little bit. But I do have this review section that I really, really do like. So we are going to drag this on up. Let's go, probably putting it right above the review section. So we'll have some actual images. So we would have to find that on Amazon and a bunch of other places, but I think that's going to add a really good personal touch.
2 hours later.
All right, so I had some time to play around with things a little bit, and after doing some research on Amazon, I found this great listing right here, which gave me some good details about what the patterns are for this makeup, because I'll be honest, I probably do need a little bit of makeup. I'm not gonna lie, the acne is a little bit bad, but I don't really know much about how to describe the different tones and pigments, and it's just totally out of my league. But I was able to come up with these details based on what I saw on Amazon and from a few of my competitors. Now, for shipping and returns, I always like to have a section at the beginning of the description that just lists out straight up, hey, here's our shipping times, here's our better than risk-free guarantee. Now, description, I'm still working out. We'll probably have about a paragraph here for actually laying out what the main talking points are for our product. Now, scrolling down, we have our loved by over 5,000 beautiful women. Now, I did add some UGC. These are actual photos that I found from the Amazon product reviews. And I do like to have some UGC always, 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 either in the product images or somewhere in the description itself. Now, under this, we have customer reviews. And then for frequently asked questions, pretty generic stuff. I mean, do you offer returns, shipping, delivery, where your product's made from? Definitely, you can add some more sections like having trust badges. And now I actually did have a specific section that I really did like. And I know it might be a little bit of cheating to sort of copy this over, but I really like this layout. And I don't think it's really super difficult to do. You just have a row, you add some images, add some text, you should be good to go. So this is the why buy from us section. So I'm actually kind of debating whether or not I should have this. I think we would just put this probably right around here. It's a good little separation. Then yeah, why buy from us? I think there might be actually too many things. So I probably want to cut this down. Worldwide shipping, do we want to keep that? Let's go into the row here. See what happens if we make 3. Okay, 3 kind of looks a little weird. Let's just undo that. I would say for most products, that section does work, but man, it's so different with makeup and stuff that is a non-problem solver. So, I mean, obviously, everyone has different preferences. You can split test what you feel like would work best. I feel like that would be a bit of empty real estate. I would just like to go, all right, here's one part of the description. Now we have our customer reviews and everything like that. Now, when it comes to this, it's definitely optional if you want to have the image placeholders. Personally, I think I'm going to keep it. I don't think it's that bad. Now, obviously, we're going to have to change out this text at the bottom here. I might even consider throwing in another photo just to separate these sections a little bit more. I think that wouldn't look that bad. So again, really with website design, it's all about playing around, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. Now, this image is definitely crowding the borders a little bit too much. So what we're going to do is go to spacing. For padding, let's try doing about a 10. I think looks pretty solid to me. I want to make sure it's even and aligned. I would say probably needs a little bit more padding. So we'll just do, yeah, about a 13 works for me. And I would say that's looking pretty solid. Might want to have a bit of margin on top as well. So we'll just add about a 15, somewhere around there. Again, playing around with spacing, you always have to play around with that. Scrolling down here, I think there is way too much spacing here, so we'll get rid of that. But overall, I feel like this is really, really solid with the pink. Now, obviously, we got to put in our logo and stuff like that. But I'm feeling very, very confident that this would get a ton of sales. Dynamic checkout, we got our offer. I would say the final thing actually that's really important, we'll probably need to add some text here, is we need to put an image and make it super easy for people to understand how it works when they do the buy one, get two free. So we're actually going to copy this section over from this leggings website. So let's go add a heading right here. And we'll just paste that right there. Now we want to get that image of actually what it looks like. So what we're probably going to have to do is go 3, add to cart. Then as we can see right here, we're going to check out. And look at that. So everything's looking pretty good. So we'll just take a nice little screenshot of that. Nothing too crazy. So they can see that section of it. We'll probably have to crop it down a little bit. But once we have that, we are going to go back to Gempages, put a little image right here. And I think it had specific instructions. Yes. So we will copy this right here and then add a body paragraph. And I think that's going to make it look very, very, very nice. So we'll add a text block right here. Very, very plain instructions. Add 3 palettes. Alrighty, so let's add some spacing for this exact text right here. Make sure it's pretty centered up. Now with the image, again, probably gonna add a bit of padding. Again, padding is just so important. You wanna make sure you have good spacing and then also some margin as well. Now we are going to add the final little text block right under here. Alrighty, so that's looking pretty good. So we're probably gonna make the font size a bit bigger here, so that's very, very legible. All right, so we're gonna increase font size a little bit to probably 16 or 17. Again, probably need to play around a bit with that. But after we've done that, I think we're looking pretty solid. Again, we're gonna add a bit of padding right here, actually margin specifically. And I would say the final thing we can do in between these two sections is a for limited time only, having a new row that's separating these two. And we're just going to add basically a header. It's going to be pretty simple. So let's do heading like this. And I always like to do my for limited time only. Now for this row, let's go to design, background. I'm thinking I want to have just a slightly darker white. Thinking that definitely stands out to me a bit more. Okay, cool. So we're going to do that. Now, when we're doing the for limited time only, this could be this week only, this could be today only. You don't even really need to have this section. I personally like to have just a for limited time only, then a button right under it. So again, this is something that you can play around with. So maybe it will work for you, maybe it won't. For me, I know it does work very, very well. Alrighty, so we got that. Now we are gonna add a bit more spacing here so that our button is nice and well spaced out. Now, with making just a regular button, I mean, personally, what I like to do is when someone clicks on this, we just are going to pick a link and it's just going to scroll back up to the main add to cart buttons. So if we go back up to scroll to and then just product like that. So they click it, it'll scroll back up and then it makes it easy for them to add to cart. Now for this, is there anything customization wise I would do? Yes, 100%. So probably would do by now as the text. I would say for width, we're going to make this pretty wide. Let's see if it actually allows us to stretch the whole way. Yep, that works for me. Now for design, same exact concept. We're just going to make the radius like this. I would say we're going to make the font size definitely bigger because it's way, way, way too small. Probably around there. Try to make it the same pink as everything else. Make sure it's consistent. So let's grab this color code right here. And that is looking nice and schmexy. We'll add a bit of padding on the bottom of that. I would say, obviously, we can play around with the fonts, make sure those are good. And then, yeah, there's a few other spacing things. But, man, for a video like this, and it's 3 in the morning, guys, I'm just so tired. I mean, I'm pumping out content like a Chinese child pumping out iPhones out here. And, I mean, what's my reward? I mean, I get a like, I get a subscribe, but it's only temporary. And then the cycle continues. I'm just a hamster on a wheel trying to bring more and more content to the point where, what's the end? What is the end goal? I don't even know. Is it fame? Is it even worth that? I don't know, just a bit of dropshipping clout? Jeez Louise. But let's get back into the actual product page. So I would say the final things sort of work on this detail. This accordion, I would definitely add a bit of left and right padding as well. So let's see. We push this on over. So 18 both ways. I think that's looking a little bit better. Now for me, when it comes to review apps, I mean, I know most people like to use Lux or Okendo, but if you're a dropshipper, I personally prefer LAI because you can import reviews not only from AliExpress, but also from Amazon, which makes things a lot easier because these detailed reviews are just so much greater. There's better photos. It's just more authentic in my eyes. So again, you just copy the link from Amazon just like this. You can choose reviews with photos, and then we can click on import. Now, obviously you might want to source reviews from your product from multiple Amazon listings to get all the best reviews available. But as we can see right here, we got 4 pretty solid images, pretty detailed reviews, and you can just edit these very simply to include stuff about, hey, this was fast shipping, that the product worked, that you're mentioning the name of the product so that the reviews sound branded. And then when you're good to go, you just click approve all, and you can definitely customize the way that they're displayed as well. So you get the standard look right here. I think I do like the standard one because the images look very, very nice. And finally, as a rich flexing artisan with a gold chain that is $200, but really probably is from AliExpress, I personally, when I'm doing logos, just get someone from Fiverr to do it. I mean, it costs like $10. I mean, you're paying your dues. But if you are balling on a budget, then I definitely recommend learning the skill on your own. It's really simple with Canva. You can just create design, go to logo like this, and they have a ton of different templates that you can refer from. So let's just see over here on the left, is there anything that remotely we could use? I would say it's actually a pretty cool design right here. So let's see what we can do here. So we do lavish eyes, and I know what most people do is they'll just like copy one side of it and then they'll make it the pink. So if we go grab this color code real quick, I want to do this all in one go. I want it to be so superfluous and so fluid. Everyone's like, oh my God, this guy's an absolute G. So let's go back here and let's copy this lavish. Trying to get that color code inside of there. Document colors, paste. I would say that's not looking that bad. And then we got this giant V. So we just change it to an L. Change this over here, this I to an E. I mean, that's not that bad. I mean, you know, your boy, for someone who's trying to speed run this logo, and obviously we would want to make it bigger and stuff like that. I mean, we could probably just crop it and make sure it fits. That's not that bad. All right, so let's take a look at the final product. We got some good images. We got a good title, reviews that you can click on. Price is looking nice. The you save, I turned it into more of a pink. Got 3 major benefits. Colors looking great. Quantity, add to cart, buy with Google Pay. Trust badges, buy one, get 2 free. What a stunning offer. Details. Description. Oh, wait, I forgot to do that. I think you guys get the point. I mean, I would add some sentences in there. Guys, it is just so late. It's 3 in the morning, guys. You're beating me like a dead horse getting all this information about how to use Gempages. But I think overall, with the goal of trying to teach you how to use Gempages and customize it to the way that you would like, this definitely gives you a good place to start. So again, play around with it. It is so fun to do because there's so many different sections and elements and blocks that you can add. I mean, I didn't even get to do a countdown timer. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do. So again, Gempages, if you can master this tool, it will make your life so much easier in getting those 5, 10, 15% conversion rates.